the more picks are gone. Hanwha Life eSports last year, especially early in the year, were renowned for their depth in late game best of fives. We were seeing Zeus play Vladimir, but see what this iteration of Hanwha looks like as we get deeper into one of the most important best of fives of the year here for them.
Yeah, it's a big one. You want to make it to MSI first and foremost. You want to get it done in the first best of five. You don't want to have what happened last year happen again. You want to get the first seed. There's so many things that you gain by winning this one best of five. But now it's chopped down to a best of three with a game going apiece to either side.
And I think the pressure really is on HLE with how both games have started with them being in a really strong position, then kind of thrown away. And as much as they salvaged game one, game two wasn't that. And also with the context of last year, a road to MSI and HLE just trying to make it to their first. So Ban's going to come in quick and fast here. It's HLE again on the first pick side, so going for the same bands.
Maybe a Nar ban again.
Could just be if we're going to have the same bands as the previous game.
Definitely have to go in a very different direction with the first pick, if that is going to be the case. It is. Last time we had the Vi. This time, Kanavi looking for Lee Sin, a very high priority jungle right now. Be taken right away, but this does leave a lot of different bottom duos here for T1 to take.
Also,
Ash Seraphine.
In terms of pairing, we often see Lee Sin paired with Ryze or Annie. Ryze obviously already taken away by Fearless. I wonder if T1 seek to deny the Annie pairing, that point and click CC, if they're going to give a chance for HLE to secure it. They're immediately going to snap up the Naafiri, though, a pick that, since the Cyclo Sword introduction, has really rocketed in terms of priority. We'll see if T1 are going to take away that Annie that we see paired with Lee Sin so often.
Yeah, or do something completely different and take like an early Lulu that we've seen paired with Naafiri sometimes. Try to set up that combo with a scaling AD carry for Peyz. Could be an alternative. The Annie feels like it's a glaring, obvious choice here and very safe. But with no Gnar and no Vayne, the Renekton stocks are also quite high here for Doran, and that's where they'll send us.
I think it's pretty interesting. I like where you guys were going with the Annie or the Lulu, but just once again trying to get some top picks for Doran. Obviously, some tanks still available,
that
but
makes
if you
sense
force Zeus onto a tank...
Top laner, so he would have top picks.
Cassiopeia was left open, by the way,
Speaking
guys.
of top picks in the mid lane, that's a high tier one that's finally going to go over here. And we are looking like we're going to lock our solo lanes, our top half, in this first phase again here. Set is not a pick we have seen in a very long time.
That's not a champ in the LCK.
That's not a champ in the LCK either, but I bet you we got at least two spacers who are very excited to see it, and was a pick that decimated the LCK at first stand.
So, yeah, this can be played top or support. Has as a flex. I do feel like the Cassiopeia pairing with the Lee Sin doesn't inspire the most joy, but I think the theory here is into Naafiri and Renekton has a lot of value. That Miasma are going to be incredibly powerful. And I also feel like the Miasma would do pretty well into Silas as well. They end up going for the Galio. I just feel like the value of the Shen Cassiopeia is kind of going up and up into triple melee already.
I don't like this Galio pick because I think you need some specific champions to be empowered by Galio in order to make this pick that's so low damage worth it. And because we're doing this right before the second banning phase, I think some of those scaling options here for Peyz are going to be removed. And now you have to worry about like Mel Shen, in the bottom lane as a potential duo that you'll be running into. So banning the Senna here initially, as Guma's been one of the only players to play it here in Korea.
Yeah, I'm really not sure about the Senna, but Senna Shen is definitely a combo that we could see.
Feels
so
like
really giving credence to that Shen to be bought.
Feels like last game T1 heavily committed to like dive in their first three picks. At this game, they heavily committed to diving with their first three picks with the fact they have this sort of melee-based composition. So I'm interested to see what they pair up for, especially since a lot of tools are being whittled away in terms of what they compare with the composition. Something you mentioned last draft was the Jinx. Kind of on top as that long-range option for follow-up. I wonder if that ends up getting a look in, although we haven't really seen any Jinx recently. Nautilus going to come through as a denial, so...
It used to be a Guma classic, but it's really just out of the meta so heavily right now. The Lulu still feels viable. Like now you have the Lulu Yunara angle where you can empower the Renekton, you can empower the Naafiri with the wild growth, but also keep your Yunara in a safe spot. I know Yunara is not everyone's favorite AD carry right now because it has felt very risky and has been punished a lot here in the LCK and now Road to MSI, but I think that might be the best bet here for T1 at this point.
I feel like it could be like Jinna MF, though. They end up going for the Milio, so
that means
hinting at a Lucian Milio, but
maybe
option
Milio
to
Jinx,
pivot
though?
Milio Jinx, it's possible. Keeping our options open. Now, obviously, HLE can flex the Shen down to support, but can keep the options open, and it looks like they might end up just going toward Ashe Seraphine in a situation and putting the Shen in the top lane. Or
Kog'Maw.
That's not
Lulu.
Ashe.
Kog'Maw for Guma. That is not a pick I associate with him at
Hog
all.
Lulu Shen. Oh, man.
It's G2.
They're here on our road to MSI. What are they doing here? And why did they summon for HLE?
It's so incredibly powerful. And if you go for the Lucian pick here, you were just so heavily outscaled, and there's so many tools to stop you from bursting the target. I don't think he could do it. I don't think he could run that here. I don't think it's going to work.
Yeah, you're playing this short-ranged melee composition into Shen, Cassiopeia, Kog, Lulu, and just icing on the cake is Lee Sin Kick has tremendous value at Peel. You have these carries who they don't care how many bulky champions you have. They just have so much damage to cut through them. I think HLE really have to misexecute if they're going to get punished in this one. It's up to T1 to be super proactive, get the ball rolling, and then not misstep. We've seen HLE leading the charge every game so far, but I think they are in such a comfortable position in this game 3.
I mean, the drafts have just been so good for HLE, but it almost feels like it's been tiered. Game 1, they had a small advantage. Game 2, we felt like they had a larger one. And then Game 3 here, if you went Jinx, you would have had maybe a fighting chance for some of the ideas we were talking about, but that's just not what we see. We don't see that type of innovation in the best of 5 like this. You stick to what the plan was, but when Gumayusi locks Kog'Maw and they throw a wrench into the gears of all your plans and you stick to the plan, sometimes it can really, really backfire. And I think my expectation is it likely will in this game. We'll have to see what happens when we get onto the Rift. Baker, an incredible Galio player. I just don't know if this draft was calling for that.
I also feel like when you're playing into Kog, Lulu, and Cassiopeia, we've seen game 1 and 2 defined by these snap engages, but you don't even have that with this composition. Your engage is Naafiri goes in or Renekton goes in, and then you follow up with Galio, but it's not super responsive. There's definite opportunity to peel away from that, so hard test for T1.
It's a big game here to see who's going to take the lead in the series for T1 versus HLE. Alrighty, game number 3 on the cards. And so far, it does feel like it's been all over the place. There have been moments where there have been obvious mistakes made, and then the opposing team would immediately capitalize and go on to get a massive swing in their direction. So, we had a moment in the middle of that game where everything was quieted down. HLE hadn't overextended yet. They were just kind of playing well from ahead, and things were looking good. And immediately, our hopes were crushed as they push too deep. And, yeah, we all know what happens next. T1 tie up the series. So interested to see where we go from here, if the teams kind of quiet down a little bit as they settle into this best of 5.
I do think there is a lot of power in the early game for T1 in the bottom and
Not a great
in the bottom and top lanes, not the mid lane. And I wasn't saying that because Faker went for a taunt and then decided that he was likely going to die if he did do that.
Just emphasizing your point.
Yeah. So let's see if this bottom lane can go well here for Peyz and Keria, if they can generate a lead there. It's not a default free win lane, especially into the Lulu with this combo, but it is quite potent, and if there's some jungle attention down there, they can pull ahead. And obviously the Renekton, they really levels into the Shen, is going to have a much better time. Okay.
That's how the trade is supposed to look. Dodging quite a lot. Oner, he's like, huh, what's going on over here?
Blink and you'll miss it. Did he see something? I don't know. But his Cogs are gone, and Kanavi continuing to be a bit of a menace here. He has Prio in mid and top, so he can play this out 1v1.
Yeah, just 1v1 so far. Kanavi kind of bleeding out, though. Eventually he's going to have to hop over to Zeka. Gets pretty low, but not really any danger of dying.
You see, one of the issues with playing out 1v1 is that all the dogs in the way just block the Sonic Wave. And Kanavi is now so low that he's in danger of being invaded himself.
And now he is just going to have to find his way out of here with the Blast Cone. Oner's trying to go over the wall. Very close there. Valdes' favorite. Does get away. He's going to stick to the Krugs.
I think this was such an unforced error because you'd gotten the Krugs, you'd gotten out. You could have just gone back to your jungle and cleared it. And Oner's not going to cross over and challenge until you went for that heavy trade onto him.
And now it's going to start taxing top lane.
Kanavi getting pretty low here as the flash comes in, but it's not going to land. And once again, Oner finds himself in the same spot as game number 2, this time a little bit earlier, and the same result. First blood goes over to Kanavi. Meanwhile, Faker, no flash, but he is able to run away from Zeka's cast.
Zeka actually flashed on him there, so committing that cooldown and try and chase down Faker, but doesn't find the kill. Weird back and forth between the junglers. I feel like Kanavi overstepped and was getting punished for it, and then Oner, would you believe, overstepped.
On the enemy Krugs? Again?
Who's the real Krug Lord here? Like, it's Doran. He's not even part of any of this.
Yeah, I
think maybe it was Oner was thinking back to last MSI, and he just remembers Krugs were really important. Krugs were the defining factor.
Yeah.
So, I mean, first of all, flashing, it doesn't really make sense. You don't have. I think the damage there. The shield is still out, and then Zeus he's walked out of top lane. Doran probably told him already. You know, like he's coming. By the way, maybe that's why he flashed. He's like, they're gonna catch me no matter what. I got to flash to try to get this kill so I can at least get something back. But
we're back.
Here we go again.
Yeah.
I mean, one of the things that the theory I was gonna say.
Oh, no. Taunt underneath the turret. Doran taking a huge amount of damage, but he's got enough fury built up. It looks like should be okay.
I don't know.
He's going back in. And Doran is able to hit level 6 as well, so he is totally fine.
Level 6 was closer than I thought there for Doran. I thought Zeus had a larger advantage in experience, so he will be fine with Dominus there. Nothing that Zeus can do. Quite a cool taunt under turret before. Rating pattern here good. I was going to mention before we had some more things happen that were kind of going to this point, in that I think you can really feel the tension in the players in the series. We're seeing a lot of mistakes. I don't want to call it big choking or anything like that, but we're definitely seeing some rough around the edges gameplay here from both squads. I think the stakes are so incredibly high. Oner going to look for a bit of a steal away here potentially. Does not have flash, so I think he's going to have to leave.
Yeah, he's alone. That is Cassiopeia. You must leave the pit.
Yeah. I mean, the Naafiri
Drake
champion who's so mobile, so hard to pin down, you can kind of play so recklessly as a result, but if there's ever a comp to hold you accountable, this is it.
Yeah. So many times we saw picks early on when our pros were still dabbling and beginning to understand what the pick does into stuff like TF. We gets it. This time, Oner's invade actually does something. As now the Polymorph is coming in, and Peyz, as we expected, is definitely struggling here.
Well, initially there were no jungle resources given, right? Like he went Doran's Helm start in this matchup, which is, you know, quite weird, quite unusual actually for a Lucian to start, and then just never got any jungle attention, never was able to break out of the lane, and has just kind of always been a little bit behind the 8-ball here. And so as a result, like there's a heavy gold lead, or a gold lead, but also CS lead that is the gold lead here for Gumayusi. And you pick the Lucian. It was the final pick. It was the counter pick.
I just feel like with how this game has gone so far, it's still early days, but the fact that HLE already have that 1,000 gold lead, have a dragon in pocket, they're feeling pretty great with the early progression. And now having the Shen ult as well is just a constant looming threat. We often say that with things like a Nocturne ultimate or Galio ultimate, but Shen is really just so much more responsive in the fact that you can just be anywhere and provide that shield immediately. Puts so much more pressure on T1 to get their plays right when they go for them.
Yeah, we've seen some crazy Shen shields as well, especially later on in the game. He comes in and it's like the guy just TP'd into the fight plus more. It's like kind of crazy what he can provide. So we've seen Shen plus Kog'Maw comps in the past. And
yeah, I saw
you
one
guys are going to see it
at a first stand.
Yeah.
Yeah, it went really well for that team.
It did. Nice dodge here from Faker. We do have Kanavi, though, on the chase. No more taunts coming in. The kick is there! And one more Fang.
Faker's
put in the back of Faker.
On the player cam there as well.
He looks angry.
And, like, I'm not sure what Faker was trying to set up there. I mean, but even without the information, if he had the information, he would have never gone for it. But even if he knew there wasn't anybody there, I'm not sure if that trade he was looking for there was going to be great. I mean, obviously no one was really nearby to help him out. He just kind of goes in and gives HLE an opportunity.
Oh, it's this game again.
Yeah, it's this game.
The Raptors, the Krugs. I think Oner got one of those little guys.
Got the big one this time. So.
Yeah, Oner got like 8 gold. It looked like. Here comes Faker. As it really does feel like neither of these teams are backing down from the fight. T1 almost trying to play HLE at their own aggression game.
I mean, in the 1v1, Kanavi is at such a disadvantage. He just throwing the Sonic Wave out, it kills a single doggo. Like, okay.
Peyz is coming to swamp up top side here, but Doran doesn't have TP and Faker doesn't have TP, so there's going to be a lot of minions lost in the bottom lane to get these
they're coming heavily.
These grubs. And they're going to try to get some plate gold here. Maybe kill Zeus? Interesting plan here. Will come at a heavy cost if it does not work.
Well, here comes Kanavi. He says, I'm going to try to take one of these with me. Going for the trade into Oner. There's the Shen shield as the kick comes in. Oner in a bit of trouble. The Q is not going to land. And Oner does get away. These guys are just skill checking each other over and over again.
But look at the bottom lane. I mentioned before. No answer here. Had Guma known Peyz was rotating up and he'd stayed, this turret would be gone already. He went for a back, but still gets back here faster. And this is a Kog'Maw getting free money, and Peyz got nothing for that rotation up to the top side. They didn't get the kill, they didn't get the turret, and Guma is just free farming. He is 750 gold ahead.
They got 2 grubs.
Okay, sorry, my bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That Galio gets to hit a turret, man. Who's going to remember that moment?
Once again, not worth. But again, it's a situation where HLE are getting a bit of a incremental lead early on in the game. But this time they have, you know, Kog'Maw and Cassiopeia with lots of backup. So, you know, as long as they don't make any too big of a mistake. Also, it's not Keria on Rakan with Paranoia backup for his engages. You know, if you think about the engage of T1, it's like Galio.
100%. That was, I mean, flash from Faker just to get away. But that was so much of Game 1 and Game 2 defined by these snap engages. We saw those picks from the supports. It's not them for T1 in particular. It's either Galio or Oner or Doran, and they're not primary engage champions. I mean, Oner can be, but normally we have like the Lulu follow-up to make it really work.
This Doran gank is not going to work. They're going to try to turn into a dragon take, but Shen, no ult, but has TP.
It's just going to come down to a flip, and it does go the way of Oner. This Kanavi looked like he was a bit early on that one.
Did it go to 1 HP? I thought it...
It was very close.
I guess I've seen the replay. It looked like it went to 1 HP. It was super close. And Kanavi trying to get it with the execute, with the recast on the Sonic Wave. Doesn't quite land it. Now they're Faker in trouble.
Yeah, Faker's in a lot of trouble. No flash here, no help either. As his jungler is doing, you guessed it, the Krugs. This time on the other side, he is going to try to jump away, dies in midair. And yeah, he's not having a lot of fun here on this Galio.
No, not really. And we kind of predicted that from the draft. It's a pretty surprising draft here for T1, as And again, here, just trying to clear the wave as soon as possible. Steps up too far. Doesn't have his flash anymore. Has just a little bit of greed after what was a successful steal on the Dragon. And it's just, you know, it's a rough situation all around. I mean, I feel like history has repeated itself. And mind you, the two of you guys weren't there with me and Atlas, but we just commentated a similar type of series with T+ and KT, where it just kept being massive gold leads and then comebacks. T1 couldn't complete the comeback in game 1. They did it in game 2, and they want to go up to match point. They're going to have to do it again in game 3, where Hanwha Life eSports has once again dominated the early. But the difference in comps, as you already pointed out, is so different this time. Like it's definitely an HLE late game comp with I mean, they couldn't have more tools to use their scaling composition.
I think for T1, you need to start finding picks, numbers advantages, or coming from creative angles. It's tricky because you're into a Shen, but if you have the burst available, you can burst through the shield before he arrives. But in a straight 5v5, there's so much structure to HLE's composition, it's going to make it hard to push through.
Doran's in a lot of trouble, actually. He is going to be okay just because Zeka doesn't want to dive. But, you know, if this were solo queue, probably Zeka could get in there and get a solo kill or at least force a Dominus. But either way, just going to push him off the wave.
Hit his TP. Faker has to go bottom lane here to catch this wave. And it's Hanwha Life eSports is moving T1 around the map with the fact that their Shen has teleport and his ultimate. They're always going to have man advantage. Galio doesn't have ult, and even if he does, he's not actually global the way that Shen is. Shen can literally go anywhere.
Also, to me, this is one of the rough points as well, is the fact that you have this Lucian Milio, who typically, I mean, historically it's been Lucian Nami, but Lucian Milio, you want to be playing around that mid-prio, be not to challenge the enemy bot lane and force them away. But it's Peyz and Keria who are just clearing the wave on the tower. They're not able to capitalize on what has been Lucian's, one of his biggest strengths over the past few years is that mid-game, mid-lane prio, and it's really giving such limited options to T1 right now. But hey, I mean, game 1 and 2 started pretty rough.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you're looking for a little bit of copium for sure on the side of T1, we've kind of, you know, talked a lot. Maybe Faker can get some kind of miracle engage on the Galio. Like, the game isn't over, but it's really rough when you're this far behind against Cassio and Kog'Maw. We do have an Infernal Soul this time, by the way, so not an Ocean Soul for the 3rd time in a row. Yeah, thankfully.
I think the thing for me is that I almost feel personally invested in this game state because we all were hoping for a different draft from T1, and they stuck to their guns and pulled the Lucian out, and we're like, well, these are the consequences, and it's not going to get easier, and we all had different thoughts about how this one was going to go, and it's not a commentator I told you so moment, but it's a moment where we're all frustrated because we don't know what the exact way back into this game is going to be. Gumayusi is 0-0-0, but he is going to be a massive threat later on.
Well, one thing I'll say is that there's always a way.
There's always a way.
We've seen crazier things. We've seen big mistakes shape games, shape entire series. And HLE need to be clean as they're going to go all in onto a Lulu who just trades with her ult, but maybe that was the whole point. Zingo's Faker trying to just zone this one away, but we have the Combat Herald already down. Zai was taken and looking for more. He's just going to turn towards mid and look to crash into mid and might be able to get this one low enough. But either way, it's enough pressure into mid.
I think this is showing a great understanding of the comp for HLE. Even though they're ahead, even though we've talked about how strong their composition is into what T1 has, their comp is great at peeling and playing defensive. Even though they felt like they had the advantage there, they don't step up and go aggressive and dive in, because that's immediately when things can start to fall apart. All they need to do is hold the line, protect the backline carries, and they'll be successful. Now they get the Herald into mid, they get the Dragon here. Patience is really paying off for them.
Yeah, well, that's the timing of this is so great because they get to use the Herald to escape, get turret, and that's prio for Dragon all at once, while T1 get nothing. And there's T1 were almost able to set up a fight, but HLE were not like, maybe we can win this without Herald. They just instantly drop the Combat Herald. They instantly bail out.
And when I'll say it, right? When it was Kanavi who got in the Herald, I really thought he saw the 4-man. He was going to go for it.
Yeah,
but no.
I was worried too.
They were
measured.
More measured for sure.
They got what they came for. This will be actually the first turret going over to T1 here. Faker gets some alone time with it. And because HLE were unable to get that mid turret earlier, actually a little bit behind in that one, puts a dent in the gold lead. It's not about the 1.8 thousand gold lead that's the problem. It's the fact that T1 aren't ahead. It's that they don't have tempo, it's that they don't have pressure. And Peyz needs to be in a position to actually pressure the enemy AD carry here.
Right, trying to beat Guma into something, but again, Wild Growth helping out quite a lot against that Naafiri. They are still going to get the exhaust and the flash away. Alongside of that Wild Growth, obviously Kanavi looking for the angle here, but...
That's big, though, for the side of T1 bidding. Those summoners on Guma make him a much more viable target. I think the Wild Growth was a little bit late. It didn't interrupt the ult from Oner like we saw it in the previous fight.
Yeah.
The damage seemed to come through, which put a lot more threat onto Gumayusi, so able to burn a summoner. And to be honest, those are the big openings. I think if the game plays out slowly and all the flashes are available for HLE, it becomes so hard to approach fights. But now you have a target in mind, and it is that Kog'Maw.
Yeah, I mean, Lulu ult can get you pretty far, but it's not a freebie. You know, it's not a get out of jail free card. If Guma makes a mistake, or if there is a punish angle, you can certainly see a lot going wrong. Those Peyz is sitting down pretty low on the damage in this game. Just hasn't been given any opportunity.
Gonna find Keria here, but it's Kanavi alone. And yeah, I mean, this is a place where T1 can get value in little picks onto Guma or even onto Zeka if they're alone. What scares me is Hanwha Life eSports' team fighting. You know, we saw kind of on the Herald, even though we didn't have a team fight. You know, the idea was there where T1 were like, we can't fight into this because even if they did go all in and take out Guma, you still got to deal with Zeka. You got to deal with everybody else. And there's just two massive damage threats that are only getting more and more scary. And, you know, at least they open an option, and maybe they can follow up on the summoners of Guma. And they're certainly going to have to fight over at least a couple of dragons from now, but probably want to fight over the next one as well.
So much of the map right now on the top side is T1 controlled. They had that push into the bottom lane. They got a little bit of tempo back. You can really feel it when you look around the map, but that alone isn't going to necessarily win you team fights. It's how you use it, and how you set up to get those picks. If Faker can set up a taunt in the brush, you know, if they're able to get even one target. If they catch the Lulu, even Zeus tries to come on a flank angle, set up a taunt, they catch him. There are ways to 5v4 and be successful here. Lucian's on 2 items. The Kog'Maw is not at an insurmountable lead, even at 1,000 gold ahead here. So Hanwha Life eSports still need to be respectful, because that's what we go back to in the near comeback in Game 1 and then in Game 2, is the disrespect ended up giving T1 an opportunity.
I think to me, the big thing, if you're going to capitalize on this next dragon, which you should, because it's sole point if HLE secure it, and if you're going to capitalize on the lack of flash, getting a ward down for a TP flank is going to be really important. When you're playing into things like Cassiopeia, Lucian, so much easier when you can approach from multiple angles, so you're not getting kicked into your teammates. He's not playing bowling with the entire roster. And so finding an angle to get down wards is really important. And actually, you can see Keria just managed to make his way in there. And you can see near the river, just over the wall, he's gotten a ward down. And I think that one's really important. So when HLE are on the dragon setting up in the river, there is positions that Faker and Doran can TP to. So we'll see when HLE push in if they sweep all of these wards out. I feel like that's going to be make or break for this next fight, is can they get behind them with a TP flank?
That's a really good point. TP down for Zeka now, who catches that wave. 35 seconds here until the dragon. A lot of prio for T1, a lot of vision. Doran has TP, he's the only one in the top lane right now. Putting some extra pressure on, he can join at a moment's notice. Shen often wants to go later with the shield.
One thing notably as well, because they have a Lee Sin, you have one less sweeper. Because, you know, you keep the trinket ward as a Lee Sin. So Kanavi doesn't have one to sweep out, and they haven't cleared out those 2 wards behind. So the Light has his sweeper available. We'll see if he moves to clear out this vision now. I think they'll get the banana brush, but will they go behind as well?
I don't know. It looks like the collapse coming in. There's the TP, and now immediately HLE realize what is going on. They're able to back away and actually get position here, but now we got a TP in from the Shen. Immediate taunt does come down, but still Zeus pretty tanky. Still has to back away, and now HLE have lost their position here on the dragon for now.
They need to start working on it, though, T1 do, if they are going to take it, and that's going to require a bit of a split here. Oner soloing it as they hold this banana brush. Vision control is so paramount here. Guma pushing forward.
Guma's trying to just lead the charge here, and immediately is just going to get blown up. Leads the charge, dies, and now we're going to see Zeus going in, and he is going to fall. They do take out the jungler of T1, but that is about it. As now T1 up a member. Flash comes in, double taunt from Faker. As they're looking for more, they're going to get some flashes out of HLE, but it's still a one-team fight here for T1.
And he just charged so far forward on the Kog'Maw. Flash wasn't available at the time, and Guma gets immediately focused down, taken out, and the composition crumbles.
I mean, it's all about these carries, right? I mean, yes, you have Zeka as backup, but just wasn't able to do anything there. As this would be crazy. No way. No way, Kanavi.
No way. Go away.
They're also like not just trying to secure the dragon. They're like, we're gonna kill him.
Yes, Smite though, he's able to get in, and no, they get distracted by someone else, the Cassiopeia. Now they do take him down, but Kanavi gets in, picks up a couple of kills. And at least they are able to get the punish on a Delight. But now Kanavi in an awkward spot. He's gonna get taunted up. Guma doesn't really have much backup here, trying to save Elise in. Not really gonna work out for him. He is gonna flash away, but now you're going to lose your flash and potentially go down. As trying to save him, he is not able to. And now we got a weird breakdown as it's a 1v1 between a Naafiri and a Shen. But HLE, you know, importantly, they got the dragon. We do still have this 1v1 going on. Oner just trying to kite it out with the little doggies.
The Titanic
going to jump away.
Kills all the dogs instantly. Chaotic fight. In terms of gold, T1 doing pretty good, but the third dragon is secured by HLE. This was a manic encounter.
It's hard to quantify who walks out ahead here because it's so expensive what Hanwha did. They were able to get a lot of those kills back, so it didn't end up being as bad as it looked initially. But here,
yeah, I felt like the TP was too early, but then they just pushed in and let Doran get behind him.
And Faker is ready to follow up on the taunt. It's just an easy lockdown. Zeka gets zoned away then, so even though he's an additional threat that's left, they kill two. And T1 end up, you know, thinking they've got this Baron secured, or this dragon secured. They chase Kanavi and then turn on to Zeka without getting the smite here. So it ends up just being Kanavi taking this away, which is very hilarious. And then in the ensuing fight, it costs a lot here for HLE because Kanavi goes so deep, end up getting the kill onto Delight as we are fighting near Baron.
Yeah, a lot of damage being traded just mostly onto HLE. We saw Culling coming down, but they're able to back away, importantly. Once again, it's definitely the position they want to be in, as now they're trying to get on top of Faker, who's in a rough spot himself, just soaking up a ton of damage, gets polymorphed. He's still alive, though. This Faker very tanky here on the Galio.
Yeah, the ult from Keria saving him there. He's also gone the, what's it called, Volcanic Rukun for maximum magic resistance as Zeka. We don't often see that on the Galio in the mid lane. And then the Imperial Mandate, which is so good with Galio. You get 30 ability haste effectively on your CC abilities, 15 from the base, 15 from the extra effect. So on his W, his E, and his R.
And the vulnerability for the Lucian, who needs that extra damage to cut through and get that burst, is going to feel great. We do have Randuins here now completed for this Kog'Maw, so very difficult to burst him down without a lot of help and a lot of CC. We're really camping this bush. We're making it a party.
Yeah, this is kind of an interesting spot because there's no objective over here. Oner's not going to expect this as he's running face first into it. He's had no idea as now the Galio comes down, but they get in, they get out. And it's a very nice pick here from the side of HLE. Even the wild growth on the follow-up from Kanavi is huge. They get a couple. As now, what are they going to take afterwards?
I think Baron has to be the call at this point.
I thought that T1 were going to be able to turn that around, but they just could not collapse fast enough. The whole HLE were able to get in there from the mid lane and just completely win the war of attrition. Now TP from Zeus, who has his Dusk and Dawn at the ready. And it's just going to be a Baron, and all T1 can do is kind of feebly try to get a return kill on this turret. But into this Hydra, I don't think they can. Doran's going to push bottom lane instead, and that trap comes up huge for HLE.
Now with Baron in hand, 2,500 gold lead. It's Dragon in a minute 20. HLE can push out these lanes with the Baron buff and then just choke out the vision of T1. And when T1's composition, the short range comp, needs to push in aggressively, it's so hard to do. This is a replay of that Just Oner face checking, doesn't expect them to be there at all. And even with all the safety for Naafiri, it's not enough against that burst. And Kanavi is able to disengage, then go back in.
Yeah,
Instead of the play on a Faker.
With Faker coming here, Peyz could do something, but they just got cut off by the bottom duo of HLE getting there much faster.
Okay, so T1 working really hard to get the Scuttle Crab there, not wanting to give that over. But now we're going to see HLE pushing the waves out with the Baron buff. And no doubt looking to sweep out the vision in this situation and just not give T1 easy access to the area.
Yeah, I'm not really sure how T1 are going to manage to get into this Infernal Drake. They have to fight for it. I mean, at least in terms of flash CDs, maybe they can try to force something on Gumayusi, but that's about it. And again, as we've talked about, he has so much protection built into this composition.
All he needs to do is position well and not overextend, not walk into that CC.
Yeah, has Randuin's.
It feels like it's a lock.
His flash is up so soon, so they could stall it out for that as well.
True, and it doesn't look like T1 are going to get an opportunity, as that's going to be the ult in from Faker.
But it's completely worthless in terms of what he gains from it. And, you know, Baron is still up here, so HLE could just bide their time, push those waves out. Now they're on this dragon. No Galio ult here.
And 2 seconds, 1 second, Gumayusi flash back up. There is a flank coming in, though.
Oh, this flank could go so hard in this one. We'll see how it is going to work, as immediately Doran is able to access, but he's going to get knocked up. In goes the Naafiri. Big taunt is there, but the follow-up not quite. A lot of damage done, but Doran already down. In goes the Naafiri, and he takes the Infernal Soul away from the hands of T1. Picks up the double kill. And HLE are beginning to run away with this game as another kill goes to Kanavi. The steal is there on top of the triple kill.
Beautiful peel there from Delight to stop the Renekton from getting access to his AD carry. The damage starts to come around. The turnaround is there. And Kanavi cleans up, executing the members of T1, getting the kills, getting the dragon. And HLE looking in great position to close this game out. I don't think they're going to get it right now, but they are so strong. 7,000 gold lead and Infernal Soul as well. And then just massacring the base.
Yeah, just ripping this inhibitor out. And that's what the edges of the rest of this Baron. So T1 lose Infernal Soul, lose an inhibitor. And Kanavi goes back in here initially to push on the Doran, and then peel here for the backline, and then decides that, hey, you know what, I'm going to taxi on this Lucian. Steals the dragon, kills the Naafiri, and the Milio, mind you. And he's looking to clean up house on Peyz, who he used to get into the dragon in the first place.
So well played, just not missing an ability. The fact you're connecting the Sonic Wave onto the Lucian twice in that situation, even if he didn't secure the smite, that would have been a great play. But the fact he gets it too, and now Doran is in big trouble.
Oh, Doran's in a lot of trouble here as Dominus comes in, and we have more. There's more members of HLE that are coming in here, so that's where you are going to get the secure, as even Delight's getting into the action.
They're still trying to get that mid tower. Peyz is desperate. He's been trying all game.
You know, I don't want to say it's donezo because we have seen some comebacks, but it really feels like at this point, there's just no way back in. Even with the standing gold, the bounties. Hanwha Life eSports have so much gold at this point, and their comp with the Siege they have and the Infernal Soul should just eventually wear T1 down.
You can see they're just kind of brute forcing it. Zeus is going to taunt into multiple members, and now he has to try to flash away. Lots of damage is there, as you do have... Whoa! Okay. He's okay. He's back. And that's going to be the inhibitor in mid and top now, taken down.
TP here from Doran for the flank, but he's so far away.
And now Faker going to just, okay, that's going to be the Milio ult that does come out, and now Faker's still in a lot of trouble, although it does bait Kanavi pretty low, but I think the wallets are just too heavy. The front line is there, and the damage dealers have all the room in the world to take them out as Zeka does go very deep. And you see, Gumayusi didn't quite follow the train, but he's just trying to get the wave in here, it looks like, as HLE, I think, from this position, should be able to close it out. You could probably still hear the hesitation in my voice, but that is going to be the kick away, and Gumayusi will be safe this time. Oner desperate to try to do something, but it is too far gone. HLE should be taking this game number 3, as Oner also is going to go down, and HLE jump ahead in the series.
And despite the fact they're 2-1 up, this is the first game that felt pretty convincing start to finish. Other than that one team fight, but they did flub it a little bit. It was just a strong early game.